Welcome to the HellBound Horror Show. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to wrap the perfect present.
Are you doing a gift wrapping tutorial on my YouTube channel?
Well, if your viewers are anything like you, they need some help wrapping.
Come on. I'm not that bad at wrapping gifts.
Come on, you never let me on your channel anymore. Your viewers would rather see me than you.
Yeah, okay. I'll let you on the YouTube channel if you talk about something spooky with me.
But your viewers need to know how to wrap their gifts.
No, we're not.
They do.
We're not making this that kind of channel.
Please, no, but
No,
it's
come
gonna
on.
be no.
We're done.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
We'll talk about your stupid horror movies.
Yeah, so what horror movie do you want to review? What do you want to talk about? Maddie.
Like any good gift, it needs to be wrapped. Our name is HellBound, and we're here to say we're gonna do Christmas the horror way. It's my job to teach you. Hey, Seth, I wasn't done yet. Stop, I wasn't done.
Well, it's that time of year again. Last year, I reviewed Seasons of Belief, which was a Christmas-themed episode from Tales from the Darkside. It did really well, so why not do it again? If you want to know what Tales from the Darkside is, or even the history behind the show, check out my video from last year. Link is in the description below and in the card in the top right. For all the lazy people out there who didn't watch my video from last year, here's the Spark Notes. Tales from the Darkside is an anthology horror TV show from George Romero. This year, we're going to take a look at Season 4, Episode 7, The Yattering and Jack. This episode is notable for being based off a short story by Clive Barker of the same name. Now, Clive Barker is one of the most prolific horror authors of all time, and he's even dabbled behind the camera. Now, I'm not one for reading, so our very own Mistress of the Macabre, Miss Madison here, is going to go over the difference between the short story and the episode at hand at the end of this video. But for now, let's go over the synopsis of this Tales from the Darkside episode. The Yattering and Jack starts off with some joyous Christmas music in a still frame of this beautiful Christmas tree. The music suddenly changes to a more ominous tone, and the camera begins to pan across the room. We see items flying across the screen, and even the fish tanks start to boil. The owner of the house, Jack Polo, played by Anthony Carbone, enters while singing "Deck the Halls." Now, this is the part that annoys me the most. Out of this whole episode, this part really grinds my gears. Just listen.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly. La 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 la.
Now, I don't know if you heard it, and heck, maybe I'm just nitpicking here, but I was always taught to sing the song fa la 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 la, with an F at the beginning, fa. But he is definitely starting with a hard L. I don't know why it bothers me, but it does.
La 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 la.
While looking in the mirror cracks, and he blames it on the foundation settling. He brushes it aside, and we find out that all these strange happenings is caused by a demon. We'll get more into the demon a little bit later, just hold on. While continuing to brush off the supernatural happenings, Jack's daughter comes to visit him. This whole time, he's done a very good job of keeping his cool, but seeing his daughter visit him really throws him for a loop. He is obviously happy to see her, but you can tell that he's worried for her safety. She wasn't supposed to be here, but since it was so close to Christmas, she wanted to see and surprise her father. When she sees the state of his place, she becomes increasingly concerned for her father. Jack tries to calm her down by offering to make her a cup of tea, and this is where we get some more demon action. The demon, aka the Yattering, is played by none other than Phil Fontecaro, and his whole getup is a little ridiculous. It would be fine if we only saw glimpses of him, or if he revealed himself at the very end, but his character is very prominently featured throughout the whole episode, and his look does not hold up well under scrutiny. The makeup department really dropped the ball on this one. It could have been something special, but it's kind of laughable. While carolers come to carol, the Yattering covers his ears and calls for his master, Beelzebub. The next scene is just an exposition dump. We as an audience find out why the Yattering is torturing Jack, what the rules and limitations are, and we even find out the mental well-being of the Yattering. Because it doesn't matter that he's a literal hellspawn, he's got feelings too, you know? The Yattering is here to steal Jack's soul and to condemn him to hell for all eternity. Now, if you want to steal someone's soul, and you want to condemn them to hell forever, follow this easy 5-step program. Step 1, they need to admit the presence of evil. Step 2, they need to lose their faith in the existence of good. Step 3, they need to question their faith. Step 4, they need to ask, why me? Finally, in step 5, they need to lose their faith in God.
And then he's mine.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but my ex-girlfriend had me at stage 4. Luckily, she never got me to stage 5, so I still have my soul intact. The dialogue between the Yattering and Beelzebub is a little boring, but it does have my favorite line.
This man, he's some kind of saint. I'll never snatch his soul. He's not a saint. He's a pickle salesman.
I don't know why, but that's hilarious. So it seems like the Yattering has free range to torture and to mess with Jack in all sorts of ways. But there is one rule. He's not allowed to physically touch him. I suppose the Yattering could tell Jack a really sad, heartwarming tale. I bet he could touch Jack that way. The rules aren't super clear. If the Yattering does touch Jack, he has to become Jack's slave. It's the will of who will break first. Will Jack break to the constant torment of evil? Or will the Yattering break to the humble godliness of a pickle salesman? The Yattering still has some tricks up his sleeves as he makes the turkey dance in front of Jack and his daughter. Okay, Jack, how are you gonna explain that one to your daughter?
I should have gotten a frozen turkey. I mean, this one is too fresh.
Oh,
It's too fresh.
the story really tries to have Jack teetering on the edge of giving in and just accepting his tormentor. There are times where he accepts the mantra, Que sera, sera.
Que sera, sera.
And then there's other times where he nearly loses his cool. It's honestly a little laughable how he switches sides so easily, but it's an interesting approach. But just when the Yattering thinks he wins, he realizes that Jack is about to get back together with his wife, which is a road to happiness and forgiveness. Knowing he's about to lose Jack if Jack walks out the door, the Yattering does the unthinkable. He touches Jack. Now here's the twist. Jack knew all along. You see, the reason that Hell wanted Jack's soul so much is because Jack's mother practiced witchcraft. Well, he may not get into heaven now because, he's a demon as a slave, but who cares? Que sera, sera. I won't sugarcoat it. This episode is not great. It takes a fantastic source material, but it fails to execute. There are unintentionally funny moments, and the whole episode is pretty light in tone. It's not particularly scary, but it is a fun, spooky Christmas-themed time. Well, that's enough of that. Let's take it to our mistress of the macabre, Madison here, and she's going to go over the difference between the short story and the episode.
So in the novel, we had two different perspectives, the Yattering's perspective and then Jack's perspective. The main thing that irked me about the episode was that it was a bit more ambiguous as to whether Jack knew what was happening to him. In the novel, we learned pretty quickly, through Jack's perspective, that he knew that the Yattering was there and that Jack had a plan all along. The novel was also a lot darker than the episode. From the Yattering's perspective, we learn that Jack's plan to completely ignore anything strange going on and his motto, Que sera, sera, drove his wife to commit suicide. Many of the Yattering's attacks were much more gruesome in the novel as well. For example, when the Yattering brought the turkey to life, the turkey was out for some serious blood. And when he was causing the Christmas tree and other objects to spin and fly around the house, it was much deadlier in the novel. By the end of it, Jack was bloody and impaled by many pine needles. But other than these few differences, the episode stayed relatively true to the novel.
Good points. Thank you. The Yattering in Jack is a fantastic story that didn't translate super well to the television screen. But at their heart, the underlying message, the underlying meaning, remains consistent between the two mediums. Of course, we have the obvious, Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. Just learning to accept things around you rather than giving them names and letting the circumstance dictate who you are. Don't let life's bad things control you, but instead, you control the bad circumstances. You are in control of how you let bad things affect you. So, do I recommend this episode? Yeah, of course! I love this show, and every episode has its merit. This is a really funny Christmas-themed episode that everyone should check out. But if you had to choose between only reading the short story or watching the episode, choose the short story every single time. It's wonderful and some of Clive Barker's best work. Well, that wraps up this episode. Thank you so much for watching.
Stay healthy.
Stay safe.
And
happy holidays.
Well, we're HellBound and we're here to say that
It's over. Thanks. Night, everyone.